Good morning.
Good morning, Regina. Good morning, friends. It's been a while since we've been here.
Life has
Our
gotten in the way.
apologies. It has.
It, it's been a crazy life lately, and it's either for you or for me, one of us having an issue we couldn't get here. So,
Right.
yes, we apologize for not being here, and we ask for grace.
Yes, please. The same grace that Regina shall give herself.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to say more about that, or do you want me to
You go ahead and
introduce the
introduce it.
topic?
Yeah.
So many of you know that Regina's husband died several years ago. And she just shared with me a few moments ago that yesterday was Kent's 8th anniversary of his death. And we've talked before about how the emotions, the shock, the grief can hit you sometimes out of the blue,
Yes.
and even for years later. And so we
Yes,
wanted to
indeed.
talk about that this morning. Regina um, was emotional yesterday,
And
understandably
still
so,
am.
and she still is. We've never seen Regina cry, so watch out.
Ever. So this will be a first. We both said tongue in cheek.
Right, right.
Yes.
And the grace she needed to offer herself,
Yeah.
right? And a reminder that we all need to do that at
Yeah.
times.
Because sometimes you get, what's the term? You get hijacked by your amygdala, that part of the
Yes.
brain that throws you into that fight or flight, I guess. And anyway, that yesterday morning I got hijacked.
Yeah.
And yeah, my husband had said something to me, and I was already emotional. He hadn't connected the dots yet that it was that it was the anniversary. And this is just to clarify, folks, I did remarry. So we're talking about the living husband. And
Who
so
is a gem, by the way.
he is. And, he had an emotional response to my emotional response, which triggered another emotional response from me. And, it just kind of escalated. And then when he realized what was going on, well, then he comforted and um, you're going to have moments that you're not necessarily in control of yourself. And that's what it was for me yesterday morning. An outburst like you would rarely hear from me. And I just mean, my voice was elevated. I actually slammed a door. I don't do that. I was, it was an emotional response that I had no control over. I truly got hijacked.
Mhm, mhm.
And this is a particularly difficult month for me because there are 3 anniversaries this month relative to my husband. His birthday was August the 7th. He died on August the 16th, and our anniversary is August the 21st. So I have one more yet to go this month, but yesterday's the toughest.
I'm curious, Regina,
Yeah.
as yesterday was approaching, as his birthday was approaching,
Uh-huh.
to what degree was it top of mind, and how did you navigate coming toward the day?
Not as much with the birthday top of mind. That one was a little easier this year. In terms of yesterday, off and on is the best way to describe that. So there were definitely moments I was keenly aware that it was coming, um, like when I'm writing in my journal, especially those kinds of things. But yeah, definitely aware that it was coming. And in the lead up to it, not as much emotion as there was on the day of. Um, and wondering what the day of would be,
Hmm.
you know. Um, Yeah. That's the best I can do at the moment.
That's fine. Were there ways that you were aware of that you were trying to prepare yourself or prepare the day?
Just in acknowledging that it was coming, not so much anything else, because I don't know what you can do to prepare. Um, it's an emotional response, and those are
Right,
oftentimes out of our control.
right.
And so it's, it just being aware and doing my best not to deliberately build too much emotion into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You know, Trying to be level-headed about it to some degree, um, but wondering also, you
Mhm.
wonder,
Right.
how it's going to impact you on the
Yeah,
day of,
yeah, yeah.
and you never know.
You never know. You never know. So I just thought of this. We've talked about the amygdala, out of control emotional response, and I wonder how many people listening may not really understand what we're referring to. And so I thought, as you were talking, I thought of an example that I wanted to share. Very
Please
benign example, but maybe it can help
give
trigger
some.
others into saying, "Oh, that's what they mean."
Right.
Let's see. I was at Salem State College a long time ago.
A day or two.
A day or two, yeah. Fall of 1982, and I was only there for 1 semester in the dorm. And then it was years later. I had my kids, they were teenagers, and I don't even remember where we were, but the back set of stairs that had that rubbery smell, the rubber kind of stairs,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, bam, I was right back on that set of stairs in the dorm.
Oh, wow.
Because the smell, and who'd have thought, right? The smell just was just the same and it brought me right back there. So what are the times, folks, that you've seen something or smelled something, even heard or felt, and it just brought you right back to the moment?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is a bit of what we're talking about, that
Right.
you're flooded.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
can be happy emotions, and it can be devastating emotions.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I did the first year was and I was traveling that first year for much of that. I
Mhm.
had an event to go to in um, Idaho, in Boise, Idaho. And so on the birthday, I think I was flying, and then on our anniversary, I was still there in Boise. Anyway, I was with others and all, but I did things. One of the ways I've tried to honor his memory and to get through the event is to do things that celebrate him.
Mm.
Because in celebrations we tend to be happier, right? We tend to kick in the good things in our brain, those happy I can't even think of the terms. Anyway, but things that don't cause the fight or flight, but that what's the word I want? Good positive hormones. I'll put it that way. I can't get the word. So like on Christmas, um, my husband would, yeah, I think I've told you this before, but he collected M&M dispensers. People would give him them. Somebody gave him one, and that just led to a flood of people giving them to him. And he began to, it wasn't that he went out and bought any, but people gave them to him. And I still have a fairly good sized collection of those. And so that first Christmas, I was at my daughter's house, and we got M&M things and put M&M things on the Christmas tree. We did
I
as
love
much as we could to celebrate with M&Ms because that was celebrating him. Um, that first anniversary, I went out to dinner and with my sister and my business partner that were with me, and ordered a dessert that I knew he would have enjoyed, and it was like a dessert for two, and I shared it with them. But it was something we would have done, So things to celebrate their life, celebrate things you've done together, kick in those happy thoughts
Mhm.
instead of as much of the grief and the sadness and the um, that fight or flight kind of a thing that you can wind up in,
Right.
which is where I was yesterday morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And fight or flight is your body's defense to protect you. It's a good
From
thing. Yeah,
eternity ago, it's
exactly.
don't have
Yeah.
control over it.
Yeah. And so it's there to, if a dog is chasing you down the street, you need to get away from it, right? And that fight or flight kicks in and lets you move your body faster and get out of there, right? And
Yeah,
it
there
can
are a
cause
lot
you
of physiological changes that happen to.
yes, yes. And so you can either respond with fighting, running, freezing,
Reason.
crying. There's a lot of things that can happen there and that's what we talk about being hijacked by the amygdala.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just thought of a story. My I have a dear friend who we met in seminary and became very, very close. Um, Her husband died unexpectedly just a few weeks ago, and she had signed a lease right after he went into the hospital to move to a new place that they needed to do, fully thinking he was going to be with her. And he wasn't. So Monday was moving day, and the movers, there was one new guy, and oh, he was cute. He was like, "I'm so sorry." But they were packing up the kitchen, and all of a sudden I heard smash.
uh-oh.
I thought, "Oh no." And it was one of two very special wine glasses.
Yeah,
Um, and I had unpacked them with her from storage earlier, so I knew that they had special meaning.
right,
And I loved her response. Here she is in the midst of grief,
right,
overwhelmed, chaos.
right.
And I said, "Carol, um, he broke one of the black wine glasses." "Oh, okay. Well, I guess Steve just didn't want me to use it."
That's awesome.
And she did that a few more times during the move.
Yeah,
And I think of that as time goes on,
right.
how we respond to the unexpected,
Yes.
um, because for her, for anyone, especially right after, it could
Yeah.
have been completely the opposite and caused
Oh,
him a
yeah,
down. And oh, that was our favorite
absolutely.
wine glass.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And so in some sense, not completely by any means, because the amygdala is the amygdala and
yeah.
you can't fight it, right?
Yeah,
But being aware, um, along your journey of grief, being aware of the fact that you have choices as well,
yes.
for the times when you're not hijacked, but you can be thinking, "Gee, when I hear a crazy story, I wanna try and find the joy in that moment. I wanna try and find what made us laugh together."
Yeah,
And just sort of saying those messages to yourself
right.
when the time comes.
Yeah,
It's not to say it's gonna negate the negative feelings, the difficult
yeah,
feelings, but it helps you approach it on a different level.
absolutely. Yeah. An interesting thing that's happened over the last couple of days is several times I have, and I'll back up here in a second, but several times when addressing my current husband, my former husband's name has wanted to come out. And of course, when we were both widowed when we met, And we, you know, agreed immediately that if we slipped and called each other by our former mates' names, it was going to be fine. We weren't going to get upset with that. So we never do. We get upset with that. But it's just interesting in how many times that's happened in the last few days. I think, well, he's thinking about me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not typical for me to slip and call him that or for that name to want to come out. It's just not typical. But over the last few days, it's definitely been on the tip of my tongue.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah. So,
And what does today hold for you?
well, we're on the other side of it today.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's it's kind of like climbing that mountain and then you come back down. And yesterday was the you can look at it one of two ways. It was the peak of the mountain or it was the bottom of the valley, you know, and now you're coming back up. And so whichever way makes sense to you. It's either you were at the top of the mountain or you were in the lowest part of the valley, but you're going the opposite direction now because that day has passed, that moment is gone.
Yep.
And so now you're resuming and you may have a little distance to go yet. As you know, I'm still emotional this morning to some degree. Um, but within the next few days, that'll be back to normal. And so, yeah, life goes on. You say, what does today hold? Life goes on. We are here, the living, and we have a purpose in life, and we need to be fulfilling our purpose, whatever that is.
Right.
And know that they fulfilled theirs already, which is why they're no longer needed here. They already did what they were supposed to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You will be in my thoughts today and my prayers.
Dear.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And folks, give yourself grace.
Yes.
Give yourself grace.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let us know how we can support you.
Yes.
We're here for you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Regina. As always, I appreciate your vulnerability and your openness.
Years ago, I remember my husband and I were at a Mary Kay training in the LA area. We'd gone down San Diego or LA somewhere. Anyway, we'd gone there for this training and I got some kind of an award and I was up front getting this award and I was supposed to say a few words and I was just so emotional. And afterwards he said, you really need to learn how to talk and cry at the same time because you're obviously not going to stop crying. So you need to learn to talk and cry at the same time. And sometimes I think that you need to learn to talk and cry and laugh at the same time.
Yeah.
You can be sad and happy at the same time.
That's right.
And that sounds incongruent, but you can be. But it's a choice too. It is a choice to be happy. It's a choice. Yeah. So we can be emotional. We can be sad that that person's no longer with us, but we can happily remember things that we did together. And, those memories can be happy memories and we can enjoy those at the same time that we miss them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Friends, have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Sounds good. See you later.
Bye
folks.
for now.
Bye-bye.